part 2. We come back, and I'm so happy that you're back with us to see Letitia and Lenora's stories unfold. And somehow Lenora gets caught up in the wilderness, and then it spins into this wonderful understanding of what it means to be a true friend. And again, these endearing twin sisters who have suffered a loss but experienced some beautiful parts of their life that spun into great friendships. And then we learn about how they continue to support some people they really care and love in a difficult time. So I'm grateful that you're here, family, again for another season of Documenting Dreams. It's season 2. Now you understand it. Walk in your gift. Now just go ahead and walk in it. You got it. And it was the moment when I said, okay, just keep walking. Just keep walking. And that literally happened this year. But there was this moment where it was like, no, just do it.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
At the perfect time.
At the perfect time. It started, and it really, the walk became more intentional when I started this podcast. This is officially season 2. Today, we are really going to jump into the power of voice. What about you, Lenora?
I would say when we were young, like, of course, we were in like elementary school, and we went to the wilderness. Mm-hmm. And this is a memory with our dads. Our mom was there, dad was there, mm-hmm. and we would go camping on like a campsite. Mm. And there was a pool and different activities. I just remember 2 things. Like, once we were in the pool and I went down the slide. I couldn't swim. My dad was a little fish and he could swim. And I went down the slide and fell all the way in the pool. Some girl got me, and then my dad came and got me because I don't know. I guess I didn't come back up.
Or fast enough.
I don't know why I was on the slide, first of all. Why did they let me do that? The child that can't swim. But then I remember we were in the camper. I don't know, we were coming out. I don't remember. Remember that song by that Can I Kick It? It's in the
movie. Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah, I can't tell the song now because guess what movie it's in? The new Spider-Verse movie. Oh. They know the song now. But anyway, that song came on and I was rapping, the lyrics, and they were just I think Marshall laughed at me because I knew the lyrics, to the song. And, that's a memory that those 2 little moments, that's the only thing I remember. But from that trip, and I'm glad because I don't know that I remember what my dad's voice sounds like, but I remember that.
How old were you?
6,
5, probably between
5, 6.
5 and 6.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow! Mm-hmm. How long after that, was his unfortunate accident?
If we were probably like 1.5 to 2 years, because
he died when we had just turned like 8 or 9. So
I thought we were 7.
I'd have to do the math. It was like 8. I'm pretty sure it's like 8.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it was like 3 years
our birthday
later.
was in December, and he passed away in January.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. Yeah, y'all know parts of my story. It's nothing like losing a parent. And it's more, I think it's important to have a strong family in those scenarios, especially between your siblings. And one thing that, I learned from you, Lenora, is just how to carry yourself with strength, allow yourself to feel those things, but then also carry a certain strength behind it. There's certain times when you need to find that strength, if not for yourself, maybe for everybody else. And I think, having my own experience, I definitely, took some pages from your book, you know what I mean? And understanding and figuring out how to manage. I don't think it ever gets easier. That's just not what I believe, but you figure out how to manage just a little bit more. And you definitely were the person that helped carry that, kind of trail that blaze for me and how to handle that. So I am grateful to you and your family for that. So what's one word to describe you? Anybody jump in?
Happy.
Lenore, what's one word to describe you?
No, ma'am.
She can't tell me.
You cannot.
I would say caring.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good word.
Yeah, that's a beautiful word.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Caring.
Mm-hmm.
She cared. I was telling her the other day, like, I feel like I am heartless sometimes because we are, and I am so glad that we were the twins that went off and did our own thing because we were just so united and it was great, you know. But we had the same friends. We did everything the same. And it was like, we need to separate so that we can become our own people.
And we actually wanted to go to school together because we were like alone when we weren't together, right?
Yeah.
But so we didn't plan to go to school separately. That's just how it worked out. But I think it worked out for our good. Like I think
because we had to learn how to do things on our own.
Yeah.
And which I think it's good. We had to learn independence and
having our own minds, like,
and that may have
everything Lenora did.
Yeah,
may have caused some codependency, you know, just because we were always together. But yeah, like I lost my train of thought. But yeah, no, I think caring is a good word for you. And I lost my train of thought.
That's okay. We'll come back to it. To it. So, you know, we have people in our lives that, you know, outside of our family. To your point, you guys were making your own lanes. You said, I'm going to go do something different. We won't have this codependence. So once you made that decision, you know, I like to call my friends my elite 8. I got my homies that hold me down. And everybody has a different purpose, or, you know, they hold me accountable in a different way. I can have certain conversations with you know, each one individually, and it's all different. However, I could be the most vulnerable with any of them. Like it's such a trusted space. So again, they're called my elite 8. You know, some people like to think of their starting line, you know, starting lineup, you know, the best 6 man or whatever it's called in any genre or sport. So who would that be for either of you? And you don't have to name them, but or maybe name something about their personality, you know, and why they're, you know, in that group of friends.
I'll go first because, you know, my crew, we met our freshman year in college, and one Stacy, you know, Stacy, Vanita, and Sharice, you know, I love them like sisters. Stacy will tell everybody that I was this random girl who followed them to the caf to eat. I was randomly
make you sound so pitiful.
Right. Talking about my hair to myself. Stacy tells everybody the story. So Jenelle, whenever the time comes where you meet my friend Stacy, she's going to tell you the story. She tells everybody the story. I was randomly just following them, but I did see these group of girls. I was invited to dinner, by the way, by somebody else. That's how I got there. But Stacy is like, we all bring something different, you know, to our friend group. And we've been able to sustain this friend group for over 20 years. And I always tell everybody, Stacy's like the matriarch of our group because she's the one that stayed in contact with everyone and then said, hey, I want to go here. Do you want to come? Or want to go here? And then it just became a thing where we would go on trips. Vanita, so Stacy's like the boss. Like she's just a boss. Okay. All of them are boss. Like all of them do very well. Sometimes I tell them, like, I don't even know how I'm in this group. Like, do I belong here? You guys are, you know, they are amazing women. And so there's Stacy. Vanita, we became a lot closer when her daughter was here, when she had her daughter, and she was born she had complications at birth, and she was in the hospital. Well, they lived together, so I would go visit them when they lived. Stacey and Vanita lived together, but Vanita was in Atlanta, and I went to visit her, and then I think from there we just started talking more than what we were talking before. And but Stacey's my business person. if I really want business advice, because she does a lot of different businesses, she's the person to go to, or just overall advice. Vanita, if I want to date, she's very free spirited. And she's very, she knows how to flirt and be coy and do all those little things. But then she also knows how to hold people accountable and has standards, like she's very, for lack of very other words, she likes, bougie, if you want to say she's bougie. She likes, tea and things like that, and pink and, I love Vanita. And so when I'm trying to date, but I call her, I'm like, Vanita, what do I say? And help me through this. Cherise, she's my pediatrician, but not my real pediatrician because she lives in Greensboro. But I call her before I call
mine,
my
not my real either. Sorry.
But Cherise is like that fun friend. I don't care how old we are, we turning up today. It doesn't matter. It's your birthday, we gonna turn up. And I kind of invited myself into her family because her family lives here in Georgia. And so I would do some, her sisters, I would go take a sister here or do something. And I'm just like, oh, I'm part of the family. So whenever they have family functions, I'd be like, hey, auntie, hey, dad, hey, mom. I kind of invited myself in. So I'm a part of their family too. But yeah, we all just like bring something to the table, and I love us. They are like the type of girls that are like, no new friends. Who are you inviting, Lenora? Because you always trying to make a new friend. Stop calling Cherise will be like, stop calling everybody your friend, But I love them because we can cry together, we can share together when things are happening. We surround each other with support. We'll go to each other if someone needs it. Cherise recently lost her father. Stacy and I were there, and so but we also like to have fun and travel together. And we're going on a cruise in 2 weeks. I can't wait. So we actually do things together, and I like it. So when I see those memes of those old ladies still on the beach with margaritas, and like, this is gonna be us for real, it's gonna be us. So that's my crew.
That's what's up.
My crew is in very various parts. I have a very close friend from college that we hold. She's like a sister. That's how close our relationship is. She's probably that. When Lenore said codependency, I'm like, oh man, is that what my issue is?
I learned that word in counseling, like long time ago.
Is that what the problem is? Is that why?
It clicked in this conversation, like,
just a sidebar.
Young age.
I feel like I've gone through it with relationships, and not in a bad way, because I've always had like a group of friends and a group of girlfriends. But I never kind of considered that I was codependent, and I'm like, maybe I am. Anyway, that's a whole other. But I have a really really good friend, and I think we just hold each other accountable because we're just always trying to grow, and we're supposed to, as we get older. So I've made it into the 40s, and I'm still kind of like, I very much feel like I'm still 30 and or 25. But we, we're older, and we kind of hold each other accountable on that maturity, like maturity. How are we thinking? And, how are we here? So I have a friend that holds me there. I have friends that, I have another friend who we're bonded through sisterhood and Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated.
Okay, we see you.
I have another friend / sister who she believes in me. Like our relationship has grown over the years, but she has not known me as my really close friends from college. But the way she treats me is like she's known me forever. And it's like I spit out gold. Now she's not and when I say that, it's like you can do anything. Like she's just so encouraging. And she doesn't just tell you what you want to hear or, support craziness. She is someone that just like really shows me like, hey, I believe in you and I support you. And, you can count on me. Like I love her for that. Because the way she shows up for me, I don't think I've seen that in such a long time. So I have
probably right exactly when you need it, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes even when you didn't know. Yeah.
Yeah. So I appreciate, I have friends that I connect with on a music level. And so we're just bonded just through music. And they hold me accountable to, have confidence and push yourself and that I believe in you. You can sing. So sing the song and stop doing all of that, what you're doing,
Yeah.
So, I have I'm not gonna call no names because I have not a lot of circles, but enough of people in various circles that I could hurt feelings.
I was gonna say somebody waiting to hear that name. When this comes out, they're gonna be like, "Nah, I know she's."
I'm not doing that.
Okay, she kept it safe.
Yeah, but
listen, everybody knows who they are. Okay.
Yeah, everybody knows. Yeah, so
even my other friends who I did not talk about that are here.
Yeah,
they know I talk about my people. They know who they are.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have different friends that hold me accountable just. To keep pushing. And Lenora, she's a part. That's the only name that I can call or will call. Lenora, she's one of my best friends, or the number one best friend. But she holds me accountable. I have so many ideas, and she's like, "It's a great idea. Can you do one of them? Can you start one of them? You can do it." So she pushes me and she holds me accountable just from wanting to be an entrepreneur, to just how I show up every day, my thought process. She will check me if this isn't right, or say, hey, like I don't agree with that, but she'll also support me when I need it. So I know who I can count on or who I can call when I need something.
Yeah, that's a blessing. That is a blessing.
But I also try to show up. The same that I get from people, it's so much more important to me now to be that. Because you know how we can just be in our own spaces and we can just take and listen to my sob story. And this frustrated me. And you're just always kind of pushing out, but you're not taking in. I've been more aware of, not that I'm that person, but who's to say I haven't been that person once upon a time. And in these last, I would say 5, 7, 8 years or so, I've been really trying to be more intentional about, I want to be the friend that people are really to me, because I have some solid, I do have some solid friends. And I want to show up for other people like they show up for me, Yeah,
it's funny you say that, because similar to anybody that's really a talker, right? And you like to talk to people in your social. I find myself often making sure that, I'm like, oh, but wait, tell me your part, because I'm definitely the talker. And it's funny, I have so many friends, I didn't realize this, that are introverted, more introverted than extroverted. And I'm probably the most extroverted out of my friends. And it's funny, I started thinking during the pandemic more and more about it, because I felt like there was this introverted movement happening, and everybody had to let everybody know what it was like to be an introvert. And, like, I'm good over here, y'all struggling, not me. Or, I need time to download. And it was an entire movement, which I respected, because it helped me get understanding for what that really meant. But it also gave me an opportunity to think about who I was, and to your point, how I show up in certain relationships and how I am as a friend. But what I realize is, and while we can call this our starting lineup and our elite 8 and whatever we choose to call those group of friends that are tight knit, and even the ones we know are in our circle but we might not name immediately, is that when you're talking to them and they're allowing you to do that talking, and they're not expecting anything in return, that's a real friend. Like, you don't even have to worry about the give, the reciprocating, because you may reciprocate in another way. And that's one of the things that I learned just about myself, that I am the talker. And, when I would apologize for doing that, they'd be like, no, I'm good. Like, tell me, and part of it's because I moved away, many of them are still home. And part of it is that's how our relationship kind of works. And nobody's offended because we're showing up as the people that we normally are in that space, and so I think that's why I love that question, because everybody has friends that are, in this space, and everybody gets to show up as their most authentic self, and I'm always curious to hear what it is for different people. So, okay, I want to just talk about hard decisions. And, as women, we have to do this often, and we do what we got to do, right? Even if it means that it might have an impact on somebody else, somebody outside of us, but we do what we have to do. We keep it moving. We make things happen, as we say. We talk about Lenora being a person who was like, I'm going to figure it out. I got $10 this week and we're going to eat. But what we definitely going to do with this $10 is eat. If we don't do nothing else, we're going to figure it out. So tell me, both of you, tell me about the hardest decision you ever had to make, and who did it impact the most?
Lenore, you go first.
That's naturally I would want to say like my marriage, but I kind of feel like when I made that decision, it was easy. I think the deciding process, I guess, was hard. But when I actually said I made it, it was just okay, yeah. So I don't know.
Deciding to get married or deciding to
deciding to get divorced.
Or divorce, okay.
I don't know if that's the hardest decision that I've made. I feel like that would be the natural, easy answer, but I don't know if that's the hardest decision. It was a hard decision. It was a hard process. But I think when I was ready to make the decision, I was ready to make the decision. So it was hard. But I would say starting a business, and especially the subscription box, because I didn't, like most people, when I started, there weren't all these classes that you can do and all these things to get you to go. I have a lot of friends. Go back to that friend. There are so many people that pour into me. And so this one person, I haven't talked to her in a while, and I need to call her. She's actually from Fayetteville, North Carolina. But I like to think of her as a mentor, because there was a time we would just go meet for coffee. And I literally met her because she was doing an event, and I wanted to support the event. And I don't know what happened, but we just started meeting for coffee, and we would just talk or go to lunch. And I valued that time because she was just so wise, She's older than me. I think she has her second child's going off to college. I think one goes to Xavier, and I don't know where the other son goes. But either way, she just told me one day, Lenora, just do it. Just start it. Figure it out. And so when I talked to her and I did it, I was at Letitia's house for Thanksgiving. I was like, okay, we launching on Black Friday. With no plan at all. So once I launched, it was there, but then there was time taken away. The kids were like, Josiah was still 2, Jay was 3. But I was taking money out of the household. So that affected the way that we lived, because I had to take money out of the household to put the boxes together. And that affected what was going on in the house. Of course, we always don't eat. Thank you, because I am not doing hot dogs, noodles, and noodles every day. This is not it.
And shout out to you for learning how to cook, because remember, that was the thing.
You got to. So yeah, And so I feel like that was a hard decision to do, to actually, I'm glad that I did it, but that affected the house. It affected the money that was coming in and out of the house, because I was taking money out the house to put into the business. And then I didn't have money to pay bills sometimes, and just carrying that on. And I'm still carrying it on. Things have changed a little bit, but it's still it's still we're still in the process of growing. But yeah, I would say that would be the hardest decision, and just keeping it going while working full time and having kids and trying to figure out, when do I have time to do all of this? And then still make sure I'm sitting down and doing something for me as well, and not feeling overwhelmed. So that was a process that I had to learn to do and figure out how to make life at home easy so that I can do all of these things. And I would say it's still a hard decision to continue, because sometimes I just want to be one of those people that go to work and come home and don't do nothing. Like, legit. Sometimes I just want to be one of those people that go home. We go home, we go to school, and we come home. We might go do stuff on the weekend, and we just don't have no other commitments. Sometimes I want that, but then I know that I would not be fulfilled. I would not be happy in that space.
For sure.
I'm over here like, dang, what is the hardest? And I still haven't come up with one yet. I feel like I've made different decisions throughout my life.
Your hard decisions.
Huh?
I could tell you a hard decision that I would imagine was hard to make.
What, recently?
You want me to tell you?
Just recently?
Not recently, just a hard decision that you've ever had to make.
What?
Moving to California. You drove across country.
That wasn't a hard decision, though.
It wasn't? Oh,
it wasn't. So that's what I was thinking. I thought that came to mind, but I was just like, I make decisions, but to me, a hard decision is something that you mull over, that you're really trying to, like, you're torn, or you're trying to really I want to make this decision. That really wasn't a hard decision for me. I was like, I'm moving. I'm going to come home. I'm going to do this. It was scary, but it wasn't a hard decision. Good try, Lenora. I did think about that, but I decided that was not one of them.
I'm trying to help you out, sis.
Yeah. So I think, again, I've made various decisions, but I have not come across something that was just like really that. Now, there's a decision that I kind of made recently with friendships that was really hard, and it's still hard. That was only hard because somebody made it hard. It wasn't hard.
I said your hair.
I'm responding to Lenora. Sorry. She pointed to her hair. That's hard because it was made to be hard. That's also not a hard decision. But sorry. Recently, I have friends that I grew up with. We graduated high school together. We're really great friends. We don't talk often, but when we get together, like, no time has passed. It's like, we just pick it back up where we left off from. Or it could have random things going on. You send an invitation, they're there, period. And there's a divide happening right now, literally. And it's tough because you want to be supportive to the parties that feel wronged, but you also don't want to disassociate either party. And I wasn't even there. So I've been trying to find ways to say the gag is that Keke Palmer says all the time. The gag is I was not there. But it's caused friction and frustration amongst everybody. People that were actually there and a part of it, and then the people that were not there. And it's like, and it doesn't have to be this way, but it also slightly feels like it needs to be this way. You got to pick sides. Now, you don't have to pick sides. We're not going to do this, Lenora. You don't have to pick sides, but then it does feel, because of the situation and because of the details and whatever, it kind of feels like you need to. And so that's a tough decision. Yeah. That's a hard decision. Who will it affect? It will affect my friends of 20 plus years.
Like 30 years.
30 plus years. If I decide to not like deal with you anymore, or if I decide to just not deal with either one of y'all because I don't want to do that, that's going to affect my friendships, the first friends, that I've had forever. Yeah. So that's something that I'm experiencing right now.
Yeah. And that's tough because, I think about friends. Jerry and I we were blessed and fortunate enough to have lots of friends either evolving in the same way, like moving towards marriage, dating a long time. We had friends that were already married, and we hung out with them as they were married and we were dating, and we picked up things along the way from all of them. And then there were some weddings we went to, while we were getting serious, and he was thinking about it, and just all these things happening. And then you got to a point where you started hearing the big D word from couples we least expected, right? Yeah. And the ones we learned from. And to your point of choosing, one of those situations, and it ended up happening again later with another couple, we handled it in such a way that we were able to be friends with both the husband and the wife. And I don't know what we did. I'm only bringing this up to say, I don't know what we did, but we were able to maintain the respect from both of those individuals. And it happened again, and we were able to do the same thing again.